We are live, everybody. Hey, it's JJ Conway. I'm so excited to see you today. Looks like our banana friend is back. Are you the same banana from last week?
What do you mean? I've never been here.
What do you mean? What do I mean?
I've never been here.
Well, who's been here?
Oh, you must be thinking of my cousin.
Your cousin.
My cousin really loves numbers, and he really loves coming on this show.
Well, who are you?
I am Ultra Nene.
Ultra Nene.
Yeah.
Okay, Ultra Nene. Do you have something for us today? Make sure you say loud so you can. So you make sure you're loud enough for them to hear you.
Got it.
Okay.
I had something.
You did.
Hang on. I had something. I'm gonna find it.
Okay, well, while Ultra Nene is trying to figure out what he is going to say to everybody today, I just want to remind everybody that this is our fourth Thursday. I want to welcome everybody to the Ladies of Wealth podcast. Whenever you're ready, just come on back, okay?
I still can't find it. Oh, found it. Okay. Found it. Okay. So, these are tiny football cards, like this.
Mm-hmm.
There are other ones like this. They are like positive football cards, and we're gonna start doing some videos on these.
Okay, and what does that one say?
This one, like the cover.
I like it.
Okay, this one says 10. Keep your fire alive through every challenge. You can see that.
Oh, keep your fire alive through every challenge. Okay. That's a great way to start.
And it's a really good thing for every team. I know it's probably going to help me in my football team.
How's that?
Because even though we play well, we need to up our attitude. This is probably going to help us if we get to the championship or even in the playoffs.
Okay. All righty. I like it.
This is good advice.
And it really matches tonight's lesson, and you didn't even know it.
Really?
Yeah.
I just drew one out of a certain thing.
Yes, you did. All right. Let's go ahead and get. Do you have anything else you want to say before you go? Because I need to get started on the lesson.
I'm about to have a good day in every single way. Shining down on me. Birds are sing and praise. I'm about to have a good day in every single way. God who made the universe throws me back my name, so it's a good day. It's a good name. No, it's great. Everything I do, man, it didn't hesitate. I thought I'm at this man in my good day. Wait, hang on. I'm gonna get it. Turning all things blue, they sky blue in this day. And I was like, ooh, I know it's not my best. That's why I'm singing that. I'm about to have a good day, good day in every single way. Yeah, sun is shining down on me. Birds are singing praise. I'm about to have a good day, good day in every single way. God made that universe, throws me back my name, so it's a good day.
Yay!
It's a good day.
Y'all give this banana boy some Ultra Nene some love today. If y'all give him some likes, some love, some hearts, some likes or something.
Drop in the comments if you thought I had a great performance. Great performance, okay?
They might not be able to hear you. We probably need to get you a mic. Okay. All right.
It's okay.
It's okay. All right.
See you next time,
next
guys.
Week. Say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Ultra Nene is tired.
So's his mama. All right. And I'm not just tired today. I'm also a little bit nervous because I am going to do something a little different. But before I do that, I want to welcome everybody to our live recording for the Ladies of Wealth podcast. I keep saying I'm going to move it to the daytime in my office downtown. Clearly, we haven't made that happen yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. But for now, we're here. And if you are in the Stephenville area or Erath County or nearby surrounding area, and you would like an in-person interview, we are not charging local residents right now to come in and do an interview. Now, once our schedule starts to fill up, we will indeed do so. And once our sign is ready, we will do our official grand opening. It's taken us a little bit of time to get the paperwork and the legalities for our sign and all that stuff. But we will have you come on downtown. But you can come now and get your interview, and we can highlight, reel it, and make it into something fantastic to help you promote your business, your nonprofit, your whatever fill in the blank organization. As long as you're good people, then we want to have you on the show. All right. And so, again, I'm JJ Conway. And I want to welcome you to the Ladies of Wealth podcast live recording. If you're listening to me as part of the podcast and not live with us on Thursdays, I want to encourage you to come out and join us on Thursdays. Tonight is not a night where I'll have slides, so it's okay if you don't hit the YouTube channel. But if you do hit the YouTube channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. In fact, whatever platform you are listening to me on, make sure to like and subscribe. You can not just like it, not just subscribe it, but also click the little notification bell so it lets you know when I go live again. That way you're helping me help others, okay? And so I'm going to skip the normal, since we're starting a little late, I'm going to skip all the normal intro that I do. So if you're new to me in my body of work, either go watch an old one or a new one to know how we do our normal Thursday night classes, okay? But again, I'm JJ Conway. I am so excited to dig into our next series that we're going to be starting, Countdown to Your Best Year Ever. And we have a theme. I'm going to reveal the theme in just a second. You know, we're going to do some lessons live, but if you want to be in the private recording of the pre-recorded lessons that are going to go out there, I want you to just go ahead right now before you forget, and I forget to remind you, go out to jjclink.com/group and you can get access to the group coaching. And if you do that before 11 o'clock, actually, realistically, if you do that before 10:45 a.m., Tuesday, November 4th, maybe before you vote or after you vote, then you will be able to get the credentials that'll probably go out at 10:59 a.m. Wait, did I say that right? Did I say p.m.? Let me say that again, okay? If you know that you want to be in the private recording, because we're going to have some lessons that go out on these Thursday nights, and then we're going to have a series of privately recorded lessons that are going to go out just to those who are subscribed to the class. If you know you want to be in the live recording for that, go to jjclink.com/group and you can purchase your group coaching access. You've got to do it before 10:45 a.m. Tuesday, November 4th, which is our next group coaching. It's always the first Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. Central. And so the credentials will go out probably at 10:59 a.m. Central. So they'll go out earlier too, but we do like to catch the stragglers and the last minute subscribers. So we want to encourage you to do that, okay? Excuse me. If you've been with me a while, you know, we typically do the Countdown class. It's a series of self-development and business development classes to help you elevate your life in the coming year, elevate your business, elevate your ministry, elevate yourself, your relationship with yourself, and your relationship with your family members and those that are close to you, right? If you've been with me for a while, you know we typically do this class in November and December. But I'm starting a little early this year for two reasons. The first reason is just the structure of this year's calendar. We're going to lose some teaching nights due to the way that the calendar lays out, with Christmas and New Year's being on Thursdays. And obviously, I'm not going to be teaching on those nights, right? The first Thursday of November, I'm going to be live at the Power Networking Conference in Atlanta. I hope you all will join me. If you're local to Atlanta, be there. If you're not local to Atlanta, I hope you'll be able to come online. But, you know, it's always kind of a gamble when I go to these conferences, whether or not I'm going to be able to deliver a lesson. And even if I can, it's going to be loud and not conducive to teaching these kinds of introspective lessons, you know? So that's the mechanics of why, okay? Uh, but there's another reason why I want to start now. And it's been heavy on my heart. Like I've been feeling like the Spirit's been telling me you need to start teaching these lessons now. You need to start teaching these lessons now. You need to start teaching these lessons now because they're new lessons. Okay. If you've been with me for the last, whoa, when did we start doing countdown? I think it was 2017 or 2018, going into 2018. If you've been with me through all that time, you know that the lessons are fairly similar. Now, when you hear them, you're hearing them from a position of elevated awareness and elevated experience. So even though it's the same basic lesson, I've grown. My stories reflect my growth, and you've grown, and your hearing reflects your growth. So even if it's the same kind of lesson, it's really more elevated each year. And so I don't really have a problem teaching the same things, that have been tried and true success principles, tried and true self-development principles, tried and true business principles that have helped hundreds of people in my sphere and thousands, maybe even millions of people in the spheres of me and my mentor group and all of us that worked to put these lessons together, to help me bring them to you and to help others bring their version of it to their audiences. We've touched people's lives, millions of people all over the world. And I love doing something that works. I'm very much if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of person. But this year it hits different. It's a tough economy right now, especially for entrepreneurs. And maybe as we get near the end, I'm trying to be heartfelt, and now I'm worried my stuff is gonna fall on me. Figures, right? It's a tough economy. It's a tough economy right now, especially for entrepreneurs. And maybe you, like me, we're nearing the end of 2025. Maybe you're realizing this year didn't unfold the way you had hoped. You worked hard. You had plans. You dreamed big. But life happened. Maybe your health took a hit. Maybe your family needed you more than you expected. Maybe, like so many others, you've hit that post-pandemic, post-election wall where everything feels heavy and motivation is harder to find. Consumers are tired. They're scrolling, streaming, searching for comfort instead of the real change that you and I offer as entrepreneurs. And maybe deep down, maybe you felt that too. You've given your all, and yet somehow it feels like you're further behind than when you started. You're weary. You're questioning. You're questioning whether that dream was ever even meant for you. I mean, you still believe in possibility. You believe it for others. You're just not sure it still includes you. But tonight, I want you to know this. There is still hope. You are not behind. You are not broken. And your dream is not over. What you need isn't another plan or another push. You don't need another conference. You don't need another mastermind. What you need in this moment is a higher perspective. Because when you begin to see life through higher eyes, through faith, through wisdom, through grace, everything changes. What once felt like delay starts to look like divine timing. What once felt like loss starts to look like alignment. And what once felt impossible begins to feel inevitable. Now, this wasn't part of my original plan for the program, but as the recording date drew closer, I just couldn't shake the sense that somebody needed this message right now. And tonight, I think that someone is you. So before we dive into this countdown to your best year ever journey, before we dive into this journey, I want to do something that I haven't done quite like this before. Many of you have heard parts of my story, but tonight I want to go deeper, not just to share what happened, but to share how I saw it. Because this lesson tonight is called perspective for a reason. See, perspective means to be seen through. And it's not just how we view life, it's the lens through which life views us. And I believe that if I let you see my story through my eyes, it might help you see your own story with fresh faith and possibility. And so we're going to talk about some things tonight, such as the illusion of knowing it all. Anybody ever found themselves hamstrung by the illusion of knowing it all? There was a time when I thought I had it all figured out. Oh, I had studied the books, mastered the principles. I listened to all the personal development gurus out there. And for a while, I convinced myself that I was growing. But deep down, I was stuck. And let me tell you something. You've heard this before. If you've listened to me for any length of time, you've heard this before. Stuck stinks. It doesn't matter whether you're stuck making $20,000 a year, stuck making $20,000 a month, or even $20,000 a week. When you're stuck, it feels the same. Heavy, frustrating, disappointing. And at one point, I was earning $250,000 a year, and I was still stuck. Different level, same frustration. Because no matter how much you make or how successful you look, you can't out-earn misalignment. I wasn't living in my full potential. I was comfortable. Oh, we thought we had arrived. I was comfortable, yes, but not complete. I was teaching growth, but I wasn't growing. And that's when I realized something that would change everything. You can't expand from a posture of pride. You can only expand from humility, the humility to stay a student. Looking back, I see that the one thing that set me apart wasn't talent, wasn't timing, and it wasn't luck. It was that I never stopped learning. I never stopped testing, questioning, or growing. And while most people read Think and Grow Rich, they might read it once or twice. I read it hundreds of times. While others quoted Troy or James Allen, you know what? I dug into their lives. I researched and basically found out who these people were and how we could apply them to my life. I didn't just say the quotes. I lived them. And every principle, every experiment, every uncomfortable lesson, I was foolish enough just to give it a try. My life became my lab. And I wasn't just studying success. I was applying truth, whether I felt it inside or didn't. I was applying it. Because I wasn't just chasing results. Okay, let's be clear. I was chasing results. But deep down, I was chasing understanding. I didn't want to just be a flash in the pan. Ooh, something happened. I'd already had that happen before. I had had pockets of brilliance. Oh, a $20,000 month here and a $50,000 month there. But I didn't want results that I couldn't qualify, quantify, or reproduce. I wanted to understand how to maintain those results and make them consistently welcome in my life. And that journey never stops, because mastery isn't about reaching the top. It's about becoming more aware of the terrain every time we climb higher and higher. Now, before I could ever truly teach this, I had to heal. Oh, I was teaching it. And one of the reasons I teach it is because it forced me. One of the reasons that I teach, let me pull it down. One of the reasons that I teach Think and Grow Rich is because every time you teach something, it forces you to learn just a little bit more every time. So I was teaching, but I wasn't learning. Before I could really truly teach this and impart what you really, really needed, I had to heal. Because before the entrepreneur, before the teacher, before the coach, today, there was a little girl who didn't believe that she was worthy of love or success. And y'all know most of my story. You could probably quote half of it by now. I grew up moving constantly as a military kid. I was raised by a strong, independent mother and a traditional father. He didn't quite understand me. I was labeled slow in kindergarten, and that label, it followed me like a shadow. No matter what I achieved, no matter how high my rank got, no matter how many races I ran, no matter how many competitions I was in the finals for or won, I never felt enough. And that belief, that quiet lie of unworthiness, it became the filter through which I saw everything. Relationships, opportunities, even if I'll be honest with you and before the Lord, even my relationship with the Lord and my ministry. I didn't see it. I didn't know it. I was doing the things. You've been doing the things? So while my adult self worked hard to achieve and prove I was just as good as everybody else, that inner child still didn't believe it. She was trying to prove she deserved to be here, but she didn't believe it. And that's what I mean by perspective. It's the story behind the story. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you're building your business, showing up every day, serving others, but secretly fighting the same old battles inside. You're tired of pretending you're okay. You're tired of teaching others to rise up while inside you quietly question your own worth. Now, if that's you, I want to tell you something I wish someone had told me sooner. You are not broken. You are in progress. Let me say it again. You are not broken. You're in progress. Every entrepreneur I have ever met has moments where their mindset and their mission collide. It doesn't mean you're unqualified. It means you're becoming. And when you can see your pain through the lens of purpose, now that's when transformation begins. That's when a higher perspective starts to form. So as we start into these lessons, as we step into these lessons together, I want you to understand, I'm not here to impress you with what I know. I think the older I get, the more I know I don't know. I'm here to share what I've learned through living. Because the same God who helped me climb out of fear, frustration, and false beliefs, that same God is standing beside you now, waiting to do the same. There's a saying I used to share with my students years ago. Two simple words that still hold true today. Anybody know what they are? Stuck stinks. Stuck stinks. At the time, it became a early tagline in my mentorship programs. It was catchy. It was honest. There was a mentor that I was serving under, and he said it all the time, and we started all saying it all the time. And I mean, it was honest. Stuck stinks, right? But it was also deeply personal because I wasn't speaking about being stuck. I was speaking from being stuck. Most people, they know when they're stuck, right? The bills pile up, the check engine light turns on, and you don't have the money to fix it. You're praying for miracles, you're waiting for momentum, but you can't seem to move forward. You know you're stuck. That's the obvious kind of stuck. That's the stressed about how am I going to pay these bills kind of stuck. That's stuck. That's the stressed about my child's got cardboard in his shoes because the soles done wore out. Like you know, the minute you hold up cardboard and try to cut out a shoe pattern so that your child isn't walking on the ground through his shoes, you already know you are stuck. That's the obvious kind of stuck. But there's another kind, and it affects us at all levels. There's a subtle kind of stuck that hides behind success. It's when the numbers look good and the business is growing, the followers are rising, but inside you're quietly suffocating. You tell yourself you're fine. You keep showing up because that's what you do, but the spark is gone. That joy that once drove you, it's just been replaced by obligation. And somewhere along the line, you traded purpose for performance. I've been there. The quiet frustration of doing well on paper, but feeling empty in spirit. And what makes that level of stuck so dangerous is that it disguises itself as progress. But here's the truth. Our results, they don't lie. They are the most honest mirror we have. If you ever want to know what you truly believe, look at your results, not your affirmations, not your declarations, your results. Because the results, they are the unemotional witnesses of what's really going on inside of you. Your results reflect the patterns of thought, emotions, and belief that you live by every day. And when I look at mine, I had to face a hard truth. I had stopped expanding. Yes, I was earning more, speaking more, teaching more, but I wasn't becoming more. And eventually, when we recycle success instead of creating new growth, it starts to show up. See, it first showed up when I sent my taxes to the CPA and I realized, wow, I didn't make as much profit this year. I did all these things, but I didn't make as much profit this year. But I did all these things. I was doing more, but I wasn't becoming more. I was recycling success instead of creating new growth. And that's dangerous because if you stop growing, your business stops evolving. Your leadership, your creativity, your connection, they all flatten. That's why awareness is everything. Because awareness is what allows you to choose again. I used to wonder what made some entrepreneurs soar while others stalled. Have you ever have you those of you who've been in business more than 2 or 3 years, when you look around at the conferences you started out at, how many of the same people from your beginning are still there? It's like they're dropping off by flies. But this one's gone, that one's gone, that one's gone, that one's gone. Why? Why do some hit those 7 and 8 figures and others go back to the job? Was it intelligence, drive, connections? Over time, I realized it's not any of those. It was humility. The ones who keep rising are the ones who stay students. They never outgrow their curiosity. They never stop asking questions, even about things they think they already know. And that's how I started approaching the books. That's how I started approaching the teachings and the mentoring. I mentioned Think and Grow Rich. I wasn't just learning. I was experimenting. And every time I implemented something new, I got a result. Sometimes we're afraid to implement something new because we're afraid that it won't work out. We're afraid that they are going to laugh at us. We're afraid that it's just going to be a waste of time and money. We're afraid that it sounds good, too good to be true. Well, that probably is. But we're afraid that it's just going to be another scam, or it's just going to be another failure, just another failure. But you know what I found out about failure? If you don't ever do anything, you don't have a result to move up from. And with my life being that lab and faith being the foundation, now every challenge became data and every failure became feedback. And that posture, that willingness to keep learning, that humility to say, okay, I thought I knew what I was doing. I paid somebody good money to show me what to do, and I thought I could fly on my own, but when I stopped paying them, I wasn't doing. And so then I had to learn how to actually do, and I had to humble myself and admit I did not learn what I needed to learn. You can have a business, you can have a business that makes money. But if your money that you're being made is off of everybody else's coattails, then when those coattails stop moving forward, if you haven't grown inside your business, it stops with the coat. We rode that stream. We rode that pandemic business, and then now we hit a phase. But if we haven't learned how to learn, then what we did was we followed somebody. We're making money. We paid them to help us make money. But if we didn't actually learn how to learn, if we didn't learn the importance of continuing to learn, then when the world changed, we didn't learn how to change with it. But that willingness to keep learning, that's what keeps us evolving. And I'm not a big fan of the word evolve, but you know what I mean. Oh, but comfort can be so seductive, can't it? Oh, you reach a certain level of stability and you start to breathe a little easier. You don't have to worry anymore when the check engine light comes on because you have plenty of savings in the bank. And if you don't have the savings in the bank, you know that you've got the business. You can just go out there and shake the trees and make the money. right? And that's when your mind whispers, you made it, you can relax. But hear me on this. Comfort is the quiet killer of purpose. It dulls your drive, disguises stagnation as success, and it keeps you living beneath your potential. So the moment you stop being a student, you start repeating lessons that you should have already mastered. And the longer you repeat them, actually, the harder they get. That's why the most dangerous phrase in growth work is, I already know that. Because the second you say, I already know that, you close yourself off to the very insight that could have changed everything. So let me challenge you. Don't be the entrepreneur who knows. Be the entrepreneur who applies. Be the one who tests, questions, experiments, and keeps growing, even when it's uncomfortable. John Maxwell says, life begins at the end of our comfort zone. And in order to understand that, we have to open up the eyes of our awareness. Awareness is what sets us free. It's not another strategy. It's not another system. It's not another 5-step plan. It's awareness, because awareness changes how we see, and how we see changes everything. When we become aware of our beliefs, those ones quietly running in the background, then we can finally choose differently. When we become aware of our fears, we can stop feeding them. And when you become aware of your self-worth, when you become aware of your worth, you start building from strength instead of survival. That's the essence of a higher perspective. It doesn't change what's happening. It changes how you see it. And that's what gives you power. So as we get into these lessons, I do want to take this deeper. We're going to go deeper into, how the past experiences, our beliefs about worth, our emotional awareness, how it shapes our business today. Because until you see yourself clearly, you're going to keep creating from the same old patterns. Let me say that again, okay? You okay, hon? Okay. All right. Sorry, y'all. I just heard my baby crying. I mean, coughing. I don't even know where I was, but I bet it sounded good. All right. So we're going to be entering into this season, our countdown to our next year, our countdown to our best year ever theme is going to be a higher perspective, finding hope in the hard seasons. And I hope that you will find yourself with us today and the next 6 to 8 weeks as we go through finding hope in the hard seasons, because we have to see ourselves clearly. Otherwise, we'll keep creating from the same old patterns. You were not meant to be stuck at any level. Anytime we get stuck, it's an opportunity to learn and to grow. You weren't meant to get stuck there. You were meant to pass through there. You might have been meant to stay for a moment, but you weren't meant to get stuck there. You were meant to learn the lesson and move on. In this series, we're going to talk about what transformation really looks like. We're going to talk about transformation for leaders and entrepreneurs. Growth is not just about adding more strategies or hustling harder and I'm only going to sleep 3 hours a night. And no, it's about seeing yourself differently. And that's for me, that's what made the difference, because I was doing the things. I was teaching the classes. Let me pull this one out. Let me say that again. I was doing the things. I was teaching the classes. We got Think and Grow Rich, our self-image mastery series, Psycho Cybernetics. I was teaching the content, our authentic abundance based on the science of getting rich. Right, Wallace Waddles, our Spirit of Opulence series based on the work of Thomas Troward. You can do the things. I mean, if you don't change how you see things and change how you see yourself, you're just going to keep falling into old patterns. Transformation begins the moment you recognize that your outer world is only a reflection of your inner world. The business, the bank account, the relationships, everything mirrors our mindset, our beliefs, and our level of awareness. Now, it doesn't mean that everything that happens to us is our fault. Some things happen because we're in a sinful and fallen world. But awareness, my friend, awareness is where we begin to have freedom in our business. Now, y'all know, I feel like you all know I have a friend in heaven who brings us the ultimate freedom. But too many of us give our heart to the Lord, but we don't ever become free in our operation in the world. And for way too many years, I walked with an awareness that I was with God and the Lord had reconciled to me. He brought me into his fold and I was going to make it into heaven, but I did not apply any of that transformation to any other area of my life. Especially the ones that weren't my fault. Ooh, I feel myself getting rattled. Let me calm it back down. Every challenge you faced, every failure that stung was not meant to shame you. It was meant to shape you. Pain is a teacher, not a punishment. When you can view your hardest moments through the lens of purpose, you can step into a higher perspective. And then you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And then you can start asking, what is this trying to show me? And that's the pivot point between frustration and freedom. And for years, I was fighting my circumstances, working harder, pushing faster, trying to outperform the pain. But once I learned to look through the pain instead of running from it, then I began to see God's fingerprints, even of my setbacks. And I began to realize what it means when the scripture says that the thing that the enemy meant for evil, the Lord will turn it around and work it out for our good. That's when growth became grace. Some of us need a little bit more grace, don't we? And we need to know that there's just some things that we can't out hustle. Some pains we cannot out hustle. We just have to experience them and learn the lessons from them. And here's something you'll discover as you grow. All right. Every new level of success brings invisible boundaries. And they're not in your bank account. They're in your beliefs. What? They're not in your bank account. They're in your beliefs. You'll hit moments when those old patterns surface, the fear of rejection, imposter syndrome, the urge to play small so you don't outshine someone you care about. Oh, and we will justify them, won't we? You will defend them. We will defend those patterns because those patterns feel familiar, and familiar often feels safer than free. Freedom doesn't feel very safe. It's not warm and comforting. Most of us suffer from dirty diaper syndrome. Have you ever heard of dirty diaper syndrome? Dirty diaper syndrome, we would rather sit in our own dirty diaper than face the cold of being changed into a clean one. Yeah, it stinks, but it's warm and it's mine. So when I challenge you in this program, Those of you who make the choice to come behind the scenes and get into the group coaching of this program and get deeper than just the public lessons that we're going to teach. When I challenge you in this program, when I interrupt your story mid-sentence or call out a limitation you didn't see coming, please know that's not criticism. It's compassion. I'm not confronting you. I'm confronting the version of you that keeps you confined. And I promise you can move beyond it. Let me be real with you. Transformation is heavy work. There are going to be seasons where the weight just feels unbearable. And it's so easy to pray, Lord, take it away. But you know what I've learned about the Lord? He rarely removes the weight. Instead, he shows us what needs to be lifted, and he stands beside us while we lift it in partnership. Now, some obstacles, yes, he rolls away. Some burdens, he rolls away. But the ones you got to overcome in order to rise above others, not above others in a place of condescension, but to outperform and to really be able to have the results that you want to have. A lot of those kinds of things, he strengthens us to roll our own burdens. He strengthens us to be able to do the lifting. He strengthens us to be able to go through the journey instead of running from it. And either way, you're not alone in the lifting. And that awareness that sometimes we have to be the ones to do the lifting. Yes, he'll wipe every tear from our eyes, but sometimes he says, here's a towel. And when we let that awareness change how we show up in business, leadership, life, then we can stop seeing challenges as barriers and start seeing them as invitations to rise. So let me before we close out, let me ask you, what does living from a higher perspective look for you as an entrepreneur? Well, first of all, what it means is you stop measuring success only by what's visible. You start measuring it by alignment, by your peace, by purpose, and by the fruit your work produces in others. It means we have to learn to pause before reacting. And we train ourselves to respond from our vision, not our emotion, to respond according to our purpose and not our present situation. It means we can keep growing when we feel uncomfortable, you know. We stay a student of both scripture and strategy, allowing God to speak through us through books, mentors, and quiet moments alike. And it means that we remember success is not a destination. It's a demonstration of who we're becoming in the process. Now, if you're listening to this and you're feeling tired, if the dream feels delayed or your energy feels depleted, I want you to hear this clearly. Your dream is not dead. You're not begotten. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're not disqualified. It's not over. You didn't mess it up. It's not too late. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're not disqualified. You're simply being invited higher. The season isn't punishment, it's preparation. And if you can see it through higher eyes, then you will find that everything you thought was falling apart is actually falling into place. So, are you ready? Are you ready to rise above the current circumstances and situations that you're facing right now? Are you ready to rise above the noise, to break free from the limits of your past, to create from purpose? Purpose instead of pressure. How many of us have been feeling like we're in a pressure cooker and at any moment we're just going to blow? It's time to stop operating according to pressure and start operating according to purpose. And if you are ready, I'm ready to walk beside you. And that's what this countdown to our best year ever series. Every year we do this series to help you maximize your new year. And as we go through this lesson series called A Higher Perspective, Finding Hope in the Hard Seasons, I'm going to walk beside you, guiding you through awareness, mindset, and mastery so that you can live in the fullness of who God designed you to be. And all you have to do is take the next step. It's an easy step, but you got to take the step. I'm not sending this out to everybody and their brother. I'm sending this to the people who gave up of their free time to be on here tonight or to watch the replay later. I'm not even going to put it in the chat. So the lazy folks, I shouldn't say lazy. Ooh, that was judgmental of me. Ooh. Let me say it another way. I'm not even going to put it in the chat because I want to reward those who invested in themselves to be here for this lesson. So get your pen and your paper out so that you can write down this word and this number that I'm about to give you. If you want to join me on this journey, yes, some of the lessons will be broadcast on Thursdays as we have our classes. But some of the lessons will be recorded behind the scenes. And if you want to be part of that behind the scenes group and you want to be able to ask me your questions directly and have me be your business thinking partner, or if you want me to help by answering questions of the alignment of business and faith, all you have to do is take this easy step of texting perspective to 254-454-HOPE, HOPE. That's perspective. You're going to text perspective to 254-454-HOPE or 4673. All right. Transformation doesn't begin with more doing. It begins with more seeing. And when you see from a higher perspective, everything changes. I'm JJ Conway. I want to thank you for being here with us today. I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson. I hope that you've been inspired to look at things from a higher perspective. And I hope that you will text me perspective to 254-454-HOPE. And if you're listening to me as part of the Ladies of Wealth podcast, then I hope that whether it's part 1 or welcome you back to part 2, or you've just somehow stumbled into the middle, I hope that you will also join us for these lessons, but you can catch them live every Thursday night between now and the new year. I think that's all I have for you tonight. Wow, I don't even see any questions in the chat. Oh, all your questions must have been answered. All right, everybody. Well, y'all heard my little one not feeling so great in the background. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. I'm trying to work on slowing myself down and not being so super hyper and saying my words a million times a minute. So please let me know what you thought about tonight's lesson. You can shoot me a text to 254-454-HOPE, or you can shoot me an email, those of you who have my email address. But other than that, or you can also go to ladiesofwealth.com and /contact, ladiesofwealth.com/contact. You can drop in the chat you can drop in that anonymous form or click the vocal button, the microphone button, and leave me a little voicemail to let me know what you think. Because if you like it, then I'm gonna keep doing it. Okay. And I'm trying to elevate. I'm trying to become better. And the Lord has called me to reach more people than I'm reaching. And I need your help to do that. So with that, again, I was really kind of stalling to see if any questions would come in, but they haven't. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Y'all take care and be blessed. Thank you so much for being here with us today.